You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. To some of you on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Temptation's Ballad. So y'all, before we jump into it, I wanted to let y'all know that I am going to be starting a new job very, very soon. I'm not entirely sure how this will affect the channel. I don't think it'll affect it at all. It's a part-time position, but with opportunity to earn a lot more money than what I'm currently making right now at my current job. So, yeah, little upgrades here and there. So, yeah, wish me luck, y'all. Anyway, alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. The hyena blinked before glancing over his shoulder over the edge of the balcony with a wistful smirk. Okay. As the prime expert of disappointing the chosen one, I can safely say that you're fine. Artemi would love you. You're so... He gestured vaguely. Messy and uptight and a nervous wreck. You two would get along like two anxious peas in a pod. Cassius spluttered, his feathers puffing out indignantly. That's hardly flattering to either of us. The hyena shrugged. I'm not the flattering sort of guy. I'm just being real with you. What, do you think the chosen one is some big scary warrior? First time I met her, she was having a panic attack on the floor of a jail cell. He snorted. The hyena leaned over the balcony railing, quietly drinking in the sight of the city below. She was actually supposed to deliver that fancy crown to you that day. Obviously, that didn't work out, and things have kind of gone downhill from there. Artie's been beating herself up ever since. Cassius stiffened, his eyes flickering towards the drawer where the obsidian crown lay hidden. He hesitantly stepped forward and joined the short man on the balcony. His gaze trailed downward, where the tiny figures of Artemi Gautier and her friends stood at the castle gates. In the distance, Artemi noticed their staring and frantically fumbled a strange mix between a salute and a bow. She does seem the nervous sort, doesn't she? Still, I can't imagine she'd be happy to see me in this state. What? Like you haven't left your bed in weeks? Happens to the best of us. She won't judge. Even if she does, what's she gonna do about it? You're the goddamn Prince of Axia. Cassius shot the hyena with a sheepish look. Well, one does prefer to be in good graces of the divine savior of the world. I regret to inform you that your great holy savior is a massive doofus. I mean, just look at her. What are you afraid of? Artemi jumped with a start and elbowed Sid nervously. Sir Sid, look! It's His Highness! How should we conduct ourselves? I've never met with royalty before. You're asking me? I'm just a regular old commoner. The only times I've only ever seen the king and queen were during big parades. That is still more than I ever have. What is the customary method of greeting them? Is there anything special we must do? Sid scratched his head and shrugged. I don't know. You just kind of bow and wave. You know, just show respect and all that. Show respect? Why, yes, of course. How silly of me. Oh, God. Oh, no. Before Sid could utter another word, Artemi promptly stepped forward and thrusted her middle finger up in the air in the prince's direction. Artemi, what are you doing? Is something wrong? It's a sign of great respect, is it not? You explained it as such yesterday. I'm glad I finally found the opportunity to use it. Oh, my God. Sid stood aghast as Artemi smiled brightly. Her tail wagging furiously, she waved her middle finger high in the air in hopes of catching the prince's attention. Should he correct her? But if she found out right after flipping off the royal prince, she'd absolutely kill him. Maybe he should just start running for the hills and begin a life of solitude and isolation instead. She'll learn the truth from somebody eventually. Sid's heart jumped to his throat as he spotted Lady Osmia approaching them with a raised brow. Lady Osmia, look! It seems Cole succeeded in grabbing His Highness's attention. Worry not. I've done my utmost to show the prince the respect he deserves. Bold. I'm impressed with your honesty, Gautier. You didn't seem the type. Behind her, a Calder watched the whole exchange with a confused frown. The noble glanced at Sid inquisitively. Is she not aware? Shh! Sid grabbed the hyena by the shoulders and shook his head furiously. Calder stared at the storm of desperation and panic on his face slowly before nodding. Huh. Meanwhile, Prince Cassius was having an episode of his own as he let out a horrified gasp and clutched his chest. The Creator's Chosen just flipped me off! I knew she'd hate me on sight, but never imagined to this degree. Oh, forget about that. This actually means she likes you, funnily enough. Do not lie to me. I may be inexperienced, but I was not born yesterday. Nah, I'm being serious, surprisingly. You should flip her right back. She'll get a real kick out of it. Absolutely not! Good princes don't flip off their subjects! Cassius ducked behind the balcony, his back sliding down the wall as he rasped through his pounding heartbeat. Then again, I'm not much of a good prince. Even the Creator's Chosen saw right through me. I'm pretty sure she thinks you're a pretty cool dude. She'd probably tell you that herself if you actually went out and talked to her. Cassius let out an incredulous wheeze. You are a terrible liar, sir. I want to be throwing myself into a meeting with someone who clearly despises me. Take your business elsewhere. Whatever you need, I'm certain my officials will serve you better than a disaster like me. Dude, have you seen the bureaucracy in your city? It takes at least 3 business years for anything to get done. Cassius's shoulders slumped. I have not seen much of the city at all. Yesterday was my first time conducting duties outside the royal palace walls, and you saw how well that went. Whatever it is you're looking for, I'm certain you will find greater success with someone else. A strange look flickered across the rude hyena's face. Cassius shuffled uncomfortably under his gaze. After a moment, the short hyena let out a sigh and plopped down on the floor to sit next to him. Hey, you doing okay? Huh? What? What do you mean? The hyena grinned sheepishly and vaguely gestured to all of him. I mean, your mom and pops just died, and you just got a big city waiting for you to take the reins. And then a demon blew up one of your city streets yesterday, so folks are probably hassling you for an answer. That's a lot to deal with in just a few weeks. So, you alright? Cassius stared at the other man, suddenly feeling a little lost. I am not sure. Like you said, it's been a lot. Cassius let out a sigh and stared up at the ceiling. Mother's health has been declining for a long time, so it was expected. Father was beside himself with grief. And they were gone. Both of them. It was expected, but I'm on my own. Sir Grank has visited often to check on me, but... Cassius glanced down at the hyena strangely. No one else has asked me how I was doing. I'm not sure how to answer. The hyena's face brightened. Oh, are you close with the hot bear knight? He seems like a good guy. If you ever need to vent, he'll probably let you talk his ear off, too. Memories of this morning flashed in his mind, and a pang of guilt sliced through his chest. Sir Grank and I have a strange working relationship. I think it's best that we speak to each other as little as possible. Yeesh, you've got no one? You're the prince. It shouldn't be this hard to find someone to shoot the shit with. Many people have sought my attention, armed with honeyed words and ulterior motives. Not unlike you. The hyena laughed and held up his hands. Guilty as charged. I still need your help with something, but you'd have to be pretty heartless to see a guy breaking down on his bedroom floor and not feel for him a little. Cassius smiled slightly. As rude as this hyena has been, barging into his room and making demands, at least he was easy to talk to. Tell me, what is your name? Oh, I'm Cole. Call-a-die Bonebreaker, if you're going to be fancy about it. Nice to meet you, your princeliness. Cole hopped to his feet and bowed dramatically. Cassius stifled a laugh. Formal bowing did not look natural on this short loincloth-clad man. I'm Cassius Diluvium. It's pleasant meeting you, too. I like your nickname. Oh, Cole? Yeah, Call-a-die's a bit of a mouthful. Love my papa, but good names aren't exactly his strong suit. The hyena scowled and quietly mumbled Bonebreaker under his breath. It's nice. I hardly hear my own name these days. It's mostly my lord this, or your highness that. And everyone is usually so uptight and business-minded, you can hardly hold a conversation with anyone. Cole smirked. What, you want a nickname too? I'm trying to imagine a city official walking up to the throne room and going, Yo, Cass, I need you to sign some papers. Cassius felt a small smile tug at his lips. In his beak. It's honestly preferable. At least I know I still see a person under all this royal plumage. You know you're in charge now, right? You can literally go up to your lawmakers and go, Yo, I want everyone to call me Cass now. Anyone who does otherwise shall be sentenced to 50 hours of latrine cleaning duty. Cassius shook his head. I don't like Cass. People would probably mistake me for that famous buff accordion player from overseas. That's not a bad thing. Isn't he, like, super hot? I mean, I'd prefer a more casual public image, but maybe not that casual. Cole shrugged. Your loss. I think the people would dig a hot prince. What about Cassie? Cassie. He laughed softly. Father would find the name atrocious. There was a brief silence as the unspoken thought hung in the air. Father isn't here right now. The thought struck Cassius out of his stupor. What was he doing, sitting on the floor, casually chatting with a strange man who just barged into his room? Father would be beside himself. Cassius sucked in a deep breath and stood up, dusting off his long tailcoat. I thank you for taking the time to speak with me, but surely it's better spent achieving whatever work you need to be done. Hey, don't sell yourself short. You're decently fun to talk to. Cassius smiled, his face slightly heated. I thought you said you weren't the flattering type. Dude, if you consider this flattery, we're going to have to work on raising that bar a little. Well, in any case, what was it that you needed? You mentioned a matter of life and death earlier. I can make no promises, but I suppose I can hear you out. It's the least I can do. Cole shot him a grateful look. Thanks, man. Cassius felt a strange warmth bubble inside himself. Nobody had showed him gratitude like this before. The hyena scratched his head awkwardly as he struggled to find his words. Where do I even start? I have this friend. She's kind of like you in a way. She spent her whole life cooped up in the church district until a few days ago when she got her first mission into the outside world. And this would be the Creator's chosen, yes? Cole nodded grimly. Yeah, you probably heard how it went. She managed to recover that fancy crown of yours, but she lost all of the rubies. Her mom, the bishop, wasn't very happy about it. But see, here, the real issue is, well, we didn't put it together until yesterday, but essentially the bishop threatened to have Artemi killed if she didn't find the missing rubies. That hardly seems fair, right? Like, I know they're really fancy bits of jewelry, but they're not worth killing your daughter over, right? Cassius felt his stomach drop, his mind wandering. They're certainly important pieces of jewelry, to say the least. Katrina Gautier would know their value. She was a close colleague of my father's. But a threat to kill the Creator's chosen? That is not in line with... He quickly bit his tongue. Thankfully, the hyena did not seem to understand much of his ramblings and simply stared blankly. At least he hoped so. Cassius cleared his throat loudly. Anyway, I would love to help, but the royal family is not supposed to interfere with the church's affairs. What? Can't you at least talk to her? You're the prince. You could easily just say, yo, murdering your daughter is bad and save my friend's life. It is not that simple. Katrina Gautier is, well, terrifying. As both a person and a negotiator. I could hardly finish my speech at the tournament yesterday. Did you expect me to speak with the Grand Bishop herself? Cole stepped close, desperation rising in his voice. Look, man, I know it's hard, but my friend's life is on the line. And you don't need to talk if you don't want to. Just send her a letter or something. Please, I'm begging you. There is more to this than you believe. Only my father had the authority to... If there was anyone else I could turn to, I would. But your dad's not here right now, and you're the only one who can help me. That's not true. Father is still... This time, his slip did not go unnoticed. What? Panic filled his chest as Cassius covered his beak with his hand. No, I've said too much. You have greatly overstayed your welcome. Please leave. No, you can't just say that in... Cole let out a frustrated growl. At least help me save my friend. How about a deal? If you send a letter to the bishop, I'll keep my mouth shut. I have no idea what you are implying, but you are severely incorrect. Leave now or I will call the guards. Please, I don't care what weird plots you people have going on. Just help keep my friend safe. I'm begging you. Alright, I'm going to pause it right there. Breakfast time. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. And don't forget to check out our Patreon, y'all. Bye-bye!